Hello everyone. So following our session yesterday, I'm in the process of preparing for you the pictures so we can learn to sketch using SolidWorks directly on the pictures. So I'm going to take you through the process I do, starting from Illustrator to prepare the file, and then how we put it in SolidWorks. So first, I want to isolate the piece that I want to sketch. I bought the reference rectangle, like a square that is 5 on 5. Here I check that we are 5 on 5. Okay, I just added little bubbles so you can see what I do. Okay, so here you can see I check that my reference square is 5 on 5 centimeter or 50 millimeter. Okay, then I bring, this is a method you can use in the future if you want to be sure that you want to convert a sketch that you did and you prefer to prepare it on Illustrator. First tip, what's gonna help me on SolidWorks, it's to place this square exactly in the corner of the picture. This way, when I change the proportion, it's going to be much easier for me to visualize what I do. And then this can be placed anywhere I want, but let's keep it close to this. So I have different ways to do that. I can change the size of the artboard, or I can do Control Shift Alt and S. That will open me Save for the Web. If you don't know where it is, it's File, Save for the Web. Where did I hide it? Maybe it's in Export, Save for the Web. This opens these windows where I can select if I want PNG or JPEG. As I told you, it's better to use JPEG. And if I remove Clip to Artboard, it's automatically making me a picture that is really as tight as possible to my graphics. One second, I clicked too much. Okay. Okay, good. So this way I don't have to try to be precise. The system helped me to be precise. I'm gonna provide for you these pictures, but it was important for me to let you know how to create these things. Here, be careful. When you make an image, put enough pixels. If not, you're gonna get fat lines. So let's put 2000 by 2000 pixels, more than enough. So this way we can be precise where we want to sketch. This first exercise is easy, it's a square, but the next one are gonna be tricky. Good. Then I can make the picture light, for example, very high. I check here in the corner what is the estimated weight, 200 kilo. That's good because I don't want to have 20 mega pictures when I work in SolidWorks. Save. It's gonna ask me where I want to put it. For example, I put it in downloads so I can work faster. Save. And better to give it a name because you that's gonna be solid. One second. That's gonna be okay. Gisra jacket. One. Name it the way you want. Try to be systematic, especially if you work with a pattern, with Gisra. Label them as with the logic that you can follow and recognize later. That's it. We finished with that step. Okay, now we are inside SolidWorks. I open SolidWorks. I'm getting a window that may look like this or maybe like this. Do not worry, it's exactly the same. So like we discussed, I want part for now. Assembly, we're gonna work with it later. Drawing, we don't touch it for now at all in this course. Part, good. Okay, so let it open. Your feet. Now, if you want to check or select, or sometimes maybe it's gonna at the first time you open the software, it's gonna ask you to choose if you want IPS, inch, this and that. You need to choose millimeter, gram, second. If you see that Windows millimeter, gram, second, leave it on NC, ANSI, something like that, then be sure. This way you're gonna work in millimeter, and then you can switch to centimeter, but you're not gonna have to bounce between inches and millimeter. If you prefer inches, go for it. You will have to divide or multiply by 2.54 every time. Okay, so now that we arrived here, I'm gonna take you through all the options that we reviewed yesterday. but through the exercise of sketching the pattern pieces, the giza. So it will be less theoretical and more practical. So here on the left, I have the planes that I can choose. Like we said, I want to sketch on the front plane. So I click only on the front plane. If I want to remove from the selection, I do escape from the keyboard, escape, or I click on an empty space, front plane. Here I want to bring, first of all, click on sketch. This way it displays the sketch function. And here I have another button sketch where I click on sketch 2. I can see that he's moving the plane to put it in front of me. And I see my XY00 origin point there. Now I want to bring the picture. So in order to bring the picture, you can see that the function is not here, and we could find it digging into the settings, but the shortest way is to use the search area. First, click on the little arrow, confirm that you're in commands, not files and models, commands. So you're supposed to have this code, kind of a C language Python little icon. Here I click on that, and I start to write picture. It's giving me sketch picture function. Okay. If it's gray and unavailable, it means that you didn't open your sketch board yet. So follow the recording, follow the steps, and slowly you will learn. So here I go to where I place my picture, download, Gizra jacket, open, JPEG, 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 no PNG, JPEG. Good. Taking a little while to load because I'm doing all the stuff in parallel on the computer. That's why it's like that. Beautiful. And now you can see that my square of 5 centimeters is exactly on the 0 point. So this is a simpler method for us. Now, you see that I asked him that the picture will be 2000 pixels. He's giving me 2000 millimeter. This is not 2 meter piece. So for now, I do save. Okay, just once. I don't click on the blue icon. If not, that will take me out of the sketch. If you did it by mistake and it looked like that and suddenly you can't do nothing, go to the sketch on the side, right click, and use the edit sketch function. This is the icon that is here. Look like a little pen within a sketch. And this way you go back into editing mode. Now we want to sketch the 5 by 5 square to help us confirm and choose proportion. So I'm going to use the rectangle function. I choose the rectangle by corner, not this one, the first one. And I can put it directly on the 0 point. And I go here. Now I'm not sure that it's a square. If I want to be 100% sure it's a square, I click on the side, outside of the picture, select everything, goes to the left side where I can build rules between lines, and I ask him equal. Now I am 100% sure that my square will never move, stuck in the corner, and he behave as a square. Okay, so that was step 1. Now I want to be sure that I can select the dimension of it. I go to the top. Here I have smart dimension. I click on one line. You can see that when I get closer, it gets orange. Click on it, move to the side, one more click. It opens a window, and here I'm telling him how big I want it to be. 50 millimeter, 5 centimeters. Here you can choose units. You see, if you just drop your mouse on units, it's gonna ask you how do you want it to be. If you want centimeters, then put 5. Okay? But by default, if you set your software in millimeters, then switch over into millimeters. Okay, now you can see that this little square is 5 by 5. Now I need to shrink my picture. So I do escape on the keyboard to get out of the function to put sizes. Double click on the image, and now I can change the image. So I can grab the edge and shrink it. I can get closer and shrink it, until my square is exactly on the top of the square. You see? That method compared to what we saw yesterday, it's much easier to be 99.9% accurate. Because we still will be in the thickness of the sketch. But as a first sketch layout, and then as you know, we can, as we learn together, we can put sizes on everything. So that's a good way to have a proportionally accurate sketch that can be readjusted slightly later using sizes. Okay, and if I want to be sure to fine tune it, I can also use here the sizes. For example, 218. Good. You can see actually I'm slightly in with this. So if I want in Photoshop to delete that pixel that is making me issues, I could do it. If not, I can grab my pictures and move it exactly under the sketch 2019. Okay, but there you can see like what we just distorted the picture by 0 point less than 1%. Maybe half a percent difference. So that's if you are accurate within half a percent in sketching, cutting, assembling, I'm proud of you guys. Okay, so now I finish. I click one time on the green arrow. I don't click on the blue one yet, because if I click on the blue one, I'm gonna get out of the sketch. Everything turns gray because we just signal the software. He finished sketching, he want to move to another step. So again, if I did a mistake and I clicked on it by mistake, right click, edit sketch. Okay, now I want to sketch this because this is just for us for reference to be sure we have good proportions. So now I can use different things. I can start to sketch it using the rectangle square, and I can grab this and that, and it's kind of good. I can then move the lines by clicking on them and so on. That's one way to do it. And if I want to delete, I come from the outside the picture and selection of everything. Here you will see that it doesn't let me select. If I click on the picture, maybe you're gonna see like I don't understand, it doesn't let me work. So try to click outside the picture. And if still you can't do that and you want to have like you have a shape within a shape, for example, you have something like that, and you want to select only this one, see, it doesn't let me do it. And if I come from the outside, I get also this line. Remember, we have the right click on one line, select in chain, and select the whole chain of lines, because in his logic every sketch is a chain of line. Okay, so now this is one way to do it. If I want to have an alternative way that is similar to the logic that was used to sketch this, close to the line I have a little arrow. When I click on it, I can choose center line. Center lines are the line that help me sketch, so I can get closer. I put one here, escape, I go back to the line, one here, and now I have exactly the center of this shape. I can click on the dot and ask him fix. This way that dot cannot move. I can't make mistakes. I can't move things by chance. So now I can also use the function that is not just making a rectangle using the center rectangle. So now maybe you will understand why sometimes it's useful, because I do one click and you can see what it does. It actually helped me sketch something in 2 clicks that is exactly what I have on screen. So now I have automatically the outer the side with the 2 lines for key pull. Yeah, for flopping. Good. So now if I want to be really, really precise, I can add, first of all, it seems that all of these are the same size. So I can do right click, select in chain, equal. This way now I added a rule to be sure that everything will be perfect. I can go back to smart dimension, get closer to the line, it turns orange, click on it, go to the side, one more click, and here I can control 1, 2, 6. If it's supposed to be 126 millimeter, now it is perfectly 126 millimeter. Okay, maybe for the exercise I'm going to change the color of the picture on the next example, so it could be easier for you to see what you sketch, because right now we are black on black, blue on black, it's a bit tight. Okay, but we finish with that first shape. Now we'll do select in chain in order to select my shape, and I can go to offset. There is another option. I just click on one line, I go to offset. That's the function of offset. As you can see, the software is explaining me what it does. You select the line and then you can choose to duplicate this shape either inside or outside. So offset by default is giving me 1 centimeter offset, and we are lucky because this pattern was sketched with the same rules in mind. So 10 millimeter, select in chain. See the option here, select in chain, it's already selected the whole skizza for me, the whole sketch. or reverse, we'll put it inside, reverse, put it outside. It's sure. And then now I have my internal line that is cut FR, my seam line, and the outside that is my cut line. And that's it, we finish for that. So I can get out of my sketch. Now I have everything in gray, and I do save. So in order to save, I can do Control S on the keyboard. I can go to File, Save, and I can use the floppy disk, this icon here that used to be a memory stick 30 years ago. I told you this is the grandfather of all softwares, and some of the icons are still there. Save. Then I put it in a place where I know where to place it. So for example, jacket pattern 1. Jacket, not jacket. Beautiful. Save. And that's it. I finished with my first part. Now, and the file I just saved, I will do save as so you could see something important. I need to save it as SolidWorks part. It's literally written SolidWorks part because I have many other options. So for now, I want SolidWorks part. Okay. Soon, if you want to continue working on this file in order to prepare it for Illustrator, next week I'm going to show you how we can do that to export one file from software to software. So then in Illustrator, we can change the colors and then tell the laser to make me a little burn on where I'm supposed to stitch and completely cut where I want to get the piece. And remember, all the parts we are sketching now are the parts you need to use for the course with Abigail. So this is not a waste of time. Invest in it, make as many as you can, and split the work between yourself to be sure that all the parts have been sketched. So when in a week or 2 or 3, when you start doing the jacket, you'll be ready to cut samples and to cut in the real material. That's it for now. I'm gonna prepare another file, and then in a few seconds, we're gonna continue with the next part so I could continue to use the other options. Okay, for 1 second, we are back in Illustrator. I want to show you the way to put that, because we had this little pixel, this little white pixel. It was a little annoying, that could impact slightly the quality of our sketch of 0.1%, but let's try to learn to be 100% perfect if we can. So I can use the button to edit the artboard, and then I can move and put the artboard exactly on the edge. Then I can bring the other side of the artboard, put it here. Again, if I want to be sure, because like they say, check, trust, but verify, I use this transform, double check that I'm still at 5 by 5 centimeter or 50-50 millimeter. Okay, I'm good. Control Shift Alt S on the keyboard. I want JPEG. That's enough in terms of pixels. 2000 pixels is enough pixels to get a good quality image. And here I can see, 1 second, I can see that I'm in the corner. Clip to artboard. And now let's see if clip to artboard is even better. You see now this method is even better if I put the artboard to the edge of the square is exactly in the corner, because I don't need to see these 2 lines. I know they are perfectly placed. This way I don't get this annoying little pixel that was throwing me off. If I want to enlarge the picture to 2500 to have more pixel, more quality, then I go to save and jacket 2. Okay. I'm doing this because I know it's gonna happen to you, that you're gonna get pictures of pieces of paper that you cut, and you're gonna want to sketch them in order to vectorize, play with other software. So this is a really, really clean method to prepare files before I start to sketch. Okay, we finish with Illustrator. I go back to SolidWorks, open a new file. Technically, you could put everything on the same file, but for now, just learn the protocol of new file, part, okay, loading. There I can see part 2. I go to the front plane. I ask to see the sketch functions, and I click on sketch button. So this way I can see that I have the origin, I have my icons in the corner, and here it's written sketch 1 of part 2. If it's not written sketch here, it means I'm not inside the sketch. Example, here, discard. See, right now I'm in the part. So most of the functions are not gonna work. See, like if I look at picture, it's not giving it to me because I'm not inside the sketch. And this is a function that works only when sketch is open. So I ask to see the sketch function by clicking on the sketch ribbon, and then I click on the sketch button. He opened the sketch. He is asking me, okay, you want a sketch? You didn't tell me where. So if this happened to you, then choose front plane. Okay, I'm trying to naturally make mistakes that you're gonna make. They are not mistakes. They are just different way of working, different orders. But try to follow the logic. First, I choose the plane before I click on the sketch button. First, I tell him I want to sketch on the wall, I want to sketch on the table, I want to sketch on the board before I actually put my page there. That's the logic behind it. So now I opened it. If I want to be sure that my sketch didn't turn, I will show you that later. If something, for example, if this happened to you, and by mistake it looked like what happened to my sketch, everything is off, push on space on the keyboard and click on the center cube. That's gonna bring it perfectly front to you. Okay. Now, I did that. I want to bring the picture. I go back up in my search function. You just play with the name by deleting a letter, adding a letter. It's giving you sketch picture. There is a way to add it to the other function. I will show that to you later. Here I want Gizra jacket too. As you can see, I put it in purple. Okay, see, here is already detecting that picture is a little big. Maybe we should work in low resolution. So let's do that. So try to, I'm gonna prepare a picture for you as 2000 by 2000 pixels. So you're not gonna see that warning message, but it's important that you know that you're gonna get it if the picture is too big. Okay. So if your computer is strong, you can leave it as high resolution. I'm gonna show you the difference. Okay, for example, I did a mistake. This is not the picture I want. Click on the picture, delete. Yes, simple as that. Now I go back to the function, sketch picture. I ask him to bring the picture. He's asking me, it's a bit big, what do you want to do? I will say, no, keep the high resolution, please. It just starts slightly slower and heavier frame. So if you have lighter computer, try to make lighter picture. That's the secret. Here we have the same issue. I want to confirm that this is 5 by 5. Okay. In the next video, in the next example, I'm gonna skip that part in the recording because by now I think you understand the logic. Okay, actually I want to do it correctly. I did a mistake. I can always select everything, delete on the keyboard, but the button that's written del, D-E-L, not the backspace, not the back arrow. I want del. So if I click on this delete, then it deletes. So I want the corner rectangle. I start from the 0, XY0 point that never moves, and I sketch it as clean as I can. Select everything, equal. Now I know it's a perfect square. It's my dimension. Same process. I put my size 50. Now I can shrink my image. Double click on the image, grab the corner, get it closer. Okay, get it closer, up. Now I can get closer using, okay, how do you zoom in, zoom out? You use the galgelet, the little wheel on your mouse. Okay, good. So, I did a mistake. Okay, if it happens, you see that the picture moved. I want to bring it back to be sure that the corner is at 0, 0. Here on the side in the properties, I can tell him 0, 0. Now I know it's there. Okay, it looks like my picture is a bit big. I'm gonna reduce that to 700. That's not bad. Maybe one like 699. This is the only moment that you really need take your time to be precise. Now I'm in the thickness of the pixel. That's good. You can see that I was at. This means that I moved by 1 here. It's 0.15% change. Good. That's good. Good level of quality. Okay, so now I know that my picture is at the correct proportion. my reference square is set and perfect. Again, don't click on the green to get out of the picture. Don't click on the blue, if not you're gonna get out of the sketch. Again, if it happened to you, don't worry. You right click on the sketch, edit sketch with the little pen. I go back in. Now I can start working. So here you can see that the shape is a little more complex, and that I need to use curves. So let's go back to this. And also that it's an opportunity to use the trim and extend in order to correct the corners and the details. Just doing offset is not gonna be enough. So let's start sketching. I start with a line, get close, look, place it in the corner, go up, if I can get close and even be really perfect. If I'm happy with that point, I can take it, click on it, fix. I just added a rule, this point will not move until I release it. Click, fix. So this is why I won't have surprises. If you want these lines that you see here, because they are important for you, but they are not part of the sketch, you can use the center line. So anyway, I get closer. Just gonna good opportunity to show you something. On purpose, I will do it a little short. Okay? And then I will show you how to make it perfect. But at least now I have a line. It's exactly in the correct angle. I can click on it, fix it. Yofi. Now, next, I go back to my regular line to sketch, and I can start to do it. So here you can see, you can get a feel of when it stops to be a line and when it starts to be a curve. So I can start to bring it here. Good. If I like this line, this position, click on the line, fix. You don't have to do it all the time, but if it helps you sketch, use it. Okay, now I'm going to switch to the 3-point arc function, because we said that 12 reasons why spline is bad. So 3-point arc. If you don't see it automatically, click on the little arrow, go down. It's not tangent, it's not center point, it's 3-point arc. Now I click at the end of it, and I can click at the very end of the sketch to get a feel of how it behaves. And here I can see that's too much. I need to do it in a few steps. Escape. Click on the function again. One. You can try on the picking and go that. And then maybe that's when we're gonna understand that maybe these picking points are not just there for nothing. So see that it's marked, actually it's interesting that it could mark that it's the very end of this arc. And then I can go there, and here I can try to put a straight line, but the straight line is not exactly the way it was sketched. That's not exactly straight, it's slightly curved. So I use the 3-point arc. Here we go. So now we know that I can move that perfectly in the corner. I will click on it, fix it. So this way this is locked. And now I can add rules. I want these 3 lines to be perfectly smooth. So I do click on the first one, control on the keyboard, click on the second. So I just did a simple selection of 2 lines. Here you can see on the left, I have new options that appears. I want them tangent. So now mathematically it's perfectly smooth, because it was almost good when I did it by chance. And if I want to see that here, it's like I can feel I can do that better. I can move the point, and by moving the point, I'm correcting the curves. So, but then this move over here. So I just need to play with it. Okay. So that depends on, see what happened now. By moving this point, I control the behavior of the whole line. So SolidWorks is a software of precision. Depends. So the first question you should ask yourself: how much precision do I need for that specific part of the sketch? If it's low precision, do it fast. If it's high precision, take your time, put sizes. Line, control on the keyboard, another line. I have 2 lines in my selection, tangent. And here you can see that he moved some stuff to make it perfect from a mathematical point of view. So now let's move back this point here and see what happened. And then we can play with it. So that comes with experience, because this point doesn't have to be on the picking point. Sometimes it's not related. Okay, so for the moment I feel that what I did is good, then I can leave it. Because you see that now things are moving. If things start to move too much, use the log function. Okay, so if I want, actually that looks pretty nice. Good, so I finished that part. Moving on. Now I want to sketch this one. I go back to 3-point arc. Okay, first of all, if you like it, click on the line, fix it. But now it means that it's never going to move. So if you want to move it again, click on the line, go to the left, delete the fixed rule. Now I can move again. Delete. Okay? So if you want to fix it, just click on the line, fix it again. This way, whatever I'm going to do here is not going to impact the quality of my sketch there. Now I go here. And actually, let's try to figure out if this is a curve or this is a straight line. Up. It's not a straight, it's not exactly straight, it's a curve. So let's put a curve line from here to here, and with the third, see, first, okay, I will do that slowly. First click, the start. Second click, the end. The third click, I control the movement of the line. Good. Now let's continue. Play with escape button if you need to get out of the function. See, if I do that, it means that this line is made of 2 more lines, so it's too short. Click, click. I aim for somewhere in the middle, get closer, and I put it like that. Actually, I can already feel that this line should end a bit before. This is going to come with experience. And like this. Now I do another line. And I can either use the picking or I don't know if this is a center line or this is not a center line. This is just, this horizontal line is just giving me the fiber direction. So let's use the picking point as a reference. And go. So now I can lock this point here, fix, and I can try to click on it. If you click in the middle and you pull, you can start to change things. But before I can start to pull stuff, let's see if tangent will help me. Click on the first line, control keyboard, control key on the keyboard. Click on the second line. I have a selection of 2 lines, tangents. Now you see, just fixed it a little. I'll do the same with if that was 1, 2, 3, like 1, 2, 3, now between 2 and 3. Equal tangent. Now I know that this is perfectly done. Okay, so maybe with a bit of luck, this is the mirror of that. Let's try it. So it's an opportunity for us also to see if we can work faster. So in order to make a mirror, I need to put him a center line, a teal. Okay, so I put a line, click here, not the first one, second one, at the end, and it's telling me where is horizontal here. You see this little line, or like yellow, black on yellow? It's perfectly horizontal. So now I can do long control press on key on the keyboard, 1, 2, and 3. Also select your mirror line and go to the mirror function that is here on the top. Okay. Unfortunately, this sketch is not symmetrical, and it happens a lot in patterns. But at least we did a review of how to do the mirror line. But now, okay, now that I did that, I could do Control Z, and if I want to bring back the lights, Control Y, or I can use the trim entities. Trim entities, it's as it look, a way to chop lines and fix them. So I remove the power trim, and then I can see I do a long click on the mouse and I go around all the lines I want to remove. Okay, so let's sketch it by hand. I come here, 3-point arc, and I do the same process. No, I'm not lucky, I have to do more lines. Okay, so line, somewhere in the middle, first line, until let's fill it here, another line at the end, Let's feel straight actually. Yeah, that's gonna force you to understand and get a feel of what you're actually sketching. This is a better exercise than you realize right now. See, I can just play with it. And then the tangent function is gonna help to fix it. But I have a feeling that this is a straight line. Yes, it is straight until around here. Okay, let's get closer and let's put a little curve. Okay, and get. Okay, if I'm good and I know this point is exactly perfectly placed, click on the point, lock it. If you like this curve or you want it a little shorter, grab on the point, bring it in. You can really take your time to make it perfect. Actually, I have a feeling that this should be shorter until somewhere like this. Okay, you like that line, click on the line, fix it. Now we can ask to have this line if we feel that this horizontal line is also perfectly placed and spaced. Click on it, lock it. Now we can ask between these two lines, tangent. It's telling me I can't, you lock everything. When you see red stuff, it's saying like I can't do what you ask me, there is too many rules. Okay, so let's remove the fixed in the rule panel. And now it's telling me that yes, it can actually do it. Yeah. Because maybe we locked that line a bit too soon. But again, if you sketch and you're the thickness of the pixel, you manage that level of quality, that's already a good start. Then it's really depending on how critical this piece is in the behavior of the fabric. Okay, good. So that line is correct. I can fix it. Click, control, click, tangent. Okay, now I can also start to place that point on the line and play with the stuff. Take your time, because once you master this 3-point line, 3-point arc sketches, and what we are doing now is a complete one, you're good. So this and this is already tangent. Now let's do tangent, then click, click, curve, control, tangent. You can see that actually he wants to, naturally it kind of goes with the vibe of the sketch at one point. Like click, click, selection of two lines, control on the keyboard, tangent. Okay, because if not, you're gonna get a little spike in the. Okay, that's interesting. Locking lines is really gonna help you sketch, because here we can just pull it. See, I can just pull one, pull the other until I get like maybe this is good, and then I need to pull that one. Maybe I need to add one line. Okay, interesting. So if we feel that okay, I missed something here, I need to add one more line, then click on it, delete, and we'll just put 3, 1 until here, 1 until here. I'm doing this on purpose just to show you that if you want to get perfect, you can. If you need to be fast, you can as well. But this is the way to get, if you really need to control every movement, every position of your sketch, with that method you can. Control on the line, control, selection, tangents, control, click, click, 2 lines, tangent. And here you can see that we have one more point to control where it is, and that is pretty good. So that was the hard part. This kind of curvy shapes that Spline will do in 1 second, but then will make us trouble in the future. It took us a little while, but now it's perfect. Meaning that if you have that exact shape on another sketch, just take it, copy paste. Now let's finish the center one. Then you can do the same exercise with this inner line if it's important to you. Good. Up. Yeah, this was a curve, it was not a straight line. And let's continue. Okay, and let's continue. Let's see that. Good, not too bad. So that line is actually pretty good. So we could lock the line, but not the endpoint. Fix. This is also pretty good. Let's lock the line, and now let's put the tangent. It's 2 lines, tangent. Okay, he's telling me that these lines are almost a circle, so that's why he doesn't want me to do it. Tangent. Okay. Yeah, he's saying you don't need that line. When he does that, he's trying to tell me you don't really need that line to sketch. So if it happens to you, then we need to figure out why he's saying this. Okay. If not, you can decide to, okay, if this is almost good to me, and I want it to be smooth, but I don't want to use the tangent, then we can use the fillet. If I click here, you can see that it's so small it doesn't do it. But if I tell him this fillet is 200, because it's almost perfect, it doesn't show. Maybe here is gonna do it. You see that there is kind of a spike, a sharp angle, and we don't want it. Then we can use the fillet. I click on this, and I tell him big one, and here you can see that the yellow line is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and this way I can use the fillet to correct my line until it's perfect. That's also another way to do. You're gonna have to sit with the software and start sketching and build experience. There is no other way. Okay, so this is done. This is good. This is, what did he say before? Now it does give it to me. Now he doesn't want to give it to me. So I will also put a fillet here. Voila. And this way I get something that is really smooth. And then if you want to delete this data because it was just for us to sketch, click on it, delete. Click on it, delete. It doesn't change what you sketch, but we don't see the size on screen. Okay, before you remember, I put this line and it didn't go till the end on purpose. So now that I want to bring it there, I could grab this and put it on. That's one way, but by doing so, maybe I'm gonna move the line. If I want to be sure that I don't want to touch the angle of that line, I go to trim, click on the little arrow, extend, and you can see that he already detects where it can go. And if there will be another line, it would go until there. It always try to complete your line up to the next. In this way, I know it's perfect. It touch. I don't need to think. I don't need to look for it. It's helping me sketch. So we have the seam line ready. Now we want to get the cut line. Go. Click, right click. Either you do a selection of your whole sketch from the outside, clicking outside the picture. You can see that if I click in the picture, it doesn't give it to me. If not, I get close to a line, right click, select in chain. Now I can see I did a good job. The whole line is complete. And I can ask him offset. It looks like the offset of 1 centimeter is standard. You can see the yellow line, reverse it's inside, reverse again it's outside. It's sure. So now I have this. But I can see it's not perfect. Here it's supposed to go until there. Here I have corners to fix. So I will continue to use the trim and extend. Okay, good. So I can make a line starting here and there. On purpose, I don't even try to be precise when I sketch it because I can correct the position of it. Là. If this is supposed to be perfectly vertical, I can click on the line and I'm asking vertical. Now it is. It looked like it was. Okay, but I want to clean it up. So first I want to complete that this line will touch that, and then I want to cut the rest. Click on the little arrow close to the trim, extend. See, when you get close to it, the red one is going there. Click. Now my line is going until here. I go escape on the keyboard, trim entities, long click, right click, a regular click, left, and cut. Long click, go over and cut. Long click, go over and cut. And now I just fix that without breaking my head too much. Let's do the other one. One line, one line, one line. Then you can, this is the cut line for the outside, so it depends on the level of accuracy. Take your time, place it. If you have sizes, you can add them, and so on. Click on the little arrow under trim, extend. I'm getting close. It's detecting the line I just made. Complete. Escape on the keyboard, trim, long click, go over, go over, long click, go over. Now this line is being completed and fixed. Now let's fix this one. And the picking line, we're gonna do it last because we can now we can really do that easily. It's the same method. I click here on the edge. Actually, if you want to do your picking line now, because maybe the picking line is the extension of that, so I can use extend, click. So now I have this line. If I want to shorten it, that's where I need to use a little trick that I'm gonna put a line across and use trim to cut them both. That's where that's slightly different from Illustrator, where it would be easier to do that. Here I have to do it that way. But at least now I know that this point is perfectly placed. So I can continue to sketch from here, go till the end, go down, click with the, play with the wheel to zoom in, zoom out. And I go back here. Here I should do the same. So if I can always do escape, go back to extend. This way I have the pick mark perfectly spaced, placed, and spaced. Trim entities, cut all what I don't need, and now I get the perfect point. I can click that point, connect it to the end. Yes, it's a little slower, but it's perfect. So now I have this, I need to delete this thing in the middle. If I click on that line, you can see select the whole line. Don't do that, it's gonna make you a mess. Use the trim entity, long click and go over. Long click and go over, and that's it. Okay, so if you want your pick line to appear as being dashed, you can click the line, click the other line that you want to change the appearance, and on the left now you can see that you have a new option at the bottom. It's called for construction. Click on that and you get a construction line that is dashed. So this way in Illustrator it will appear, it will be there, it will appear dashed. So this way, if you want to have a one color for your outer sketch and your pick line will appear in a different color, you can. So technically we finished. So now let's just do some example of pick lines, because they need to be usually they are perfectly aligned one above each other. Just these two actually feels a bit different, but these two look like they're on one line. So you can use the same trick, regular line, first click, second click, escape, just add another little shape, line, trim entities, clean up what you don't need. And now you know that these two lines are exactly aligned, and the length of it, I guess, is just for visual indication. Let's do the same here. Okay, so you could do it that way. I have one line. I make another line just above. You see, on purpose, I didn't do it so good. This one is off. So I can just, first of all, if I made it too long, trim entities, clean up. But if this line is not, that's the line. It's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be with that angle. So you can click on it, fix it, select the two lines together with Control key, and ask collinear. And why is he saying that he can't? He's telling me I can't because this line cannot be at the same time vertical and aligned with this one. So I'm gonna remove the vertical rule, and now it does. Yeah, actually it's good that these mistakes appear because it's gonna happen to you. And since SolidWorks is a software of decisions, sometimes you need to control the rules. So it's better to sketch it as once and cut it. It was just an opportunity for me to remind you the logic of you can put holes between lines and make them behave. Because now these lines will always be aligned together. So if I release it, it's not fixed anymore. If I want to move my pick line, the other one move with it. So it's just allow you to edit stuff without breaking your head of I need to move this, I need to move that. Okay. Anyway, this you could do that with every pick line. I'm not gonna make them because I think that's you understood the point. If I want to do these curves, I need to go back to 3-point curve. If you want to add these lines, again, now it's much easier. Actually, you can just go to the center line. You already have it. So you see the icon on the side is showing you this point is exactly on the line. Yeah, but sometimes it does this, that is moving it. This software is a funny bird sometimes. And let me bring it back up, and now you see why sometimes fixing things is better, because now everything starts to move. But it moves, the sketch outside is moving with it. So now you can actually control distortion and control movement, because you can see that this the dimension of that center, of that vertical line, is controlling the behavior of the gizra, of the pattern at that specific spot. So if you don't want things to move, lock them. If you want to be sure that the lines are gonna cut or gonna connect without touching anything, use the trim and extend method that we learned on this line. It really depends a case by case basis. So that's it. This was one of the more complex shape. If I go back to the list of things, you can see that this one would be actually with a lot of straight lines. This one is the same level. So start small, maybe with this guy, so you can learn this and so on. One last thing that we saw that I want to be sure we talked about. So we talked these two shapes we talked during the lessons. You don't really need them unless you want to prepare some cut for buttons, and this is more like for screws for 3D building. This we say spline, don't touch it so much. I'll give you another example, maybe clearer example of why fillet could be useful. If you need this, instead of being sharp, you want it round or soft corner. So you go to fillet, and if you stand on an option, it's going to tell you what it does. And then I can click, okay, here the size is huge. I'm going to bring it down to standard is 10. It's asking me, what do you want to fillet? So I go to the, okay, and automatically is giving me this. If I say yes, it just round the corner for me and put me also a size I can control. So if I double click on this and I ask 20, voila. But what happens is like it can move stuff. So again, if you like it, if you see that it happened, Control Z, click on the line, fix it, click on the line, fix it, lock it. And now he's saying, "Ooh, there is a lot of rules on that." So if I double click on this and I ask 15 millimeter, that's interesting. He's saying that he cannot do it because maybe I don't have enough space for that. That's what we discussed. If he feels that, if the software feels that what you're trying to do would break reality of physics, is gonna tell you, I can't do that. I can't let you do that. If I go to 5, yeah, it's because like we locked the maybe because we locked the lines and it needs to move it a little bit in order to make it happen. Yeah, so you see here he actually moved that line enough that we don't see with the eye, but that physics allow it. So sometimes he's ultra picky, he's a bit too much of a geek, but most of the time he's correct that, you see, he's doing it. At one point he's gonna tell me, if you put that size, this line is gonna disappear, do you want to do that? And it's correct. If we keep adding fillet, you can see that here I almost have nothing left. So if I put 40, yeah, actually start to stretch it to the other side. That's interesting, because we didn't lock the line. Okay, so that's what fillet does. And then if you want to remove it, you do Control Z, Control Z. If you can't do Control Z, you can always delete the fillet, and you go back to extend, you click on the first line, you keep clicking, move to the next one, and normally it's supposed to already he put it to the correct length and move that. I'm gonna do that to the side. It was hard to see. I have one line, I have another line, and I want just to make it long enough to connect. You can go to extend, click on the first one, keep clicking, move to the side. You can see that he already understands what you're trying to do. I keep clicking on the left, but on the left click on the mouse, and then I just click, and that's it. I fix my sketch back. Another method would be putting a line here, and then I could extend until the line, extend, and then cut the rest. That also works. That's it. That was extra bonus content of how fillet works and so on. There is an option to write, but we'll get there. We'll cross that bridge when we'll get there. Mirror we spoke about. Linear pattern, we saw it during the lesson. We're gonna use that at another time. Move entities, rotate, and so on. Also, we're gonna get there when you're gonna need to start sketch that are not related to pictures. But first, do this exercise. Do as many as you can. Don't be afraid. Don't be lazy. Go for hard. Like push yourself, train yourself. If you manage to master this high precision sketching using SolidWorks, you can sketch the world. And you can control everything you produce down to the tenth of a millimeter. Good luck!